In today's video, we're talking Harley Quinn Season 3, Episode 7. Of course, on last week's episode, we kind of took a break focusing on Joker becoming mayor, which was a really fun episode. So in Episode 7, we start off with Ratcatcher getting interviewed on the Tawny Show about his new love interest, and I guess it happens to be one of his rats. We then cut to Harley and Ivy, now returned to Gotham after being in New Orleans. Ivy now has her connection back with the Green and figures out that Bruce Wayne has Frank. So Harley comes up with a plan to kidnap Bruce Wayne. But this plan has one major hurdle, and it's the fact that Ivy doesn't feel well. She keeps going into the Green trying to find Frank, and it just seems like it's really taking a toll on her, to the point where she's so physically ill that she can't go outside. Harley tries to get King Shark's help, but unfortunately he's busy in this episode, because he's going back home to his father's funeral. But with nobody else being available, that means we get a solo Harley adventure, which I think is great because we don't really get to see Harley go on many solo missions. Now, that doesn't mean I don't love the team dynamic we see throughout all 3 seasons of the show, but it does feel nice to change it up every now and then. We also get the big reveal that Selena and Bruce have broken up after their therapy session with Music Meister. It does seem like out of the two, Bruce is definitely taking it a bit harder, to the point where Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson even try to cheer him up. And the only reason why Bruce ends up going to the gala in the first place is the idea that Selena might be there. The gala part of this episode is by far my favorite part of the episode. It's a lot of fun seeing Harley try to sneak her way into the gala and then getting stopped by Batgirl in the elevator. You can definitely tell there's some tension there because Barbara Gordon wants to be friends with Harley Quinn, but Harley finds that very annoying to the point where they start bickering back and forth. But they inevitably get captured by Mad Hatter's henchmen. They really do play up the creepiness factor of Mad Hatter, making him a complete weirdo.
I should have recognized that beautiful hair. This isn't creepy. My mom used to do this to me all the time while I was tied up.
Although it seems like he's kinda trying not to be a weirdo, but he's still doing creepy-like things in the process.
Now I'm going to fool around with you.
Ugh, great. Like, we need another run-of-the-mill perv in Gotham.
I'm not a perv. I torture and murder, nothing gross. Is it the hat? It's the hat, isn't it?
We then go back to Selena at the house taking care of Ivy, and she's like using her whip to take out the plants and vines while Ivy's stuck in the Green. You got cats being wrapped up in the vines and the process, and I think this is used to be a really funny gag. Now to talk about King Shark's side storyline. It feels very refreshing to see someone in Harley's crew get a side storyline, seeing as we haven't seen much of King Shark this season. The storyline even shifts in a way that I wasn't anticipating because at first it seems like a nice reunion. King Shark reconnects with his brother, but after the funeral, his brother's announced king. From there, the story completely shifts because his brother wants to sell the kingdom to Ocean Master. We thus get a bloody fight between King Shark and his brother, which ends in a way I didn't really expect. Having King Shark stab his brother through the chest with Ocean Master's helmet. I'm really curious to see if there's going to be any consequences, because that's where we leave off this storyline for this episode. As for when Harley and Batgirl are captured by Mad Hatter, I felt Harley just leaving Batgirl there was quite cold, telling Mad Hatter they aren't friends so she can go free. Thankfully, psychiatrist Harley reasons with her. Because of that, Harley decides to turn around, leading to Harley and Batgirl teaming up and taking down Mad Hatter's henchmen. Which, for a second, you really think Harley's not that bad, but just seconds later, we see Harley bash Mad Hatter's head in, leading to blood going everywhere. And to end the episode, we see Harley Quinn easily trick Bruce Wayne into thinking she's Selena Kyle, and Harley brings Bruce back to her apartment. Who knows what Harley's gonna do to Bruce to try to get the information about where Frank's whereabouts are. Honestly, another solid episode of Harley Quinn. I can't wait to see next week's episode. But until then, drop a comment telling me how you feel about this week's episode of Harley Quinn.